This is the all-new redesigned Toyota Tacoma. This one has the TRD package, which means it costs a lot more money, as we'll find out later on the video. We're going to review all the changes on the 2024 versus the older one, 2023 and older. Some people say it's better, a big improvement. Some say no, not so much. Then we're going to cover the price increases, of which there are many. Then we're going to go out and do some driving, get some real fuel economy numbers. The base engine in the previous Tacoma was a 2.4 liter four-cylinder, putting out 159 horsepower. It was very reliable, 200,000, 300,000 miles. That's the good news. The bad news, with that little horsepower pulling a heavy truck, it was gutless. Didn't do too good on fuel economy either at 20 to 23 mpg, which is ridiculous for a four-cylinder truck. There's some small V8 trucks that could do better. It was really time for a change. Now the base four-cylinder has 228 horsepower thanks to a turbocharger. Rated at 21 to 26 mpg and two-wheel drive. Hooked to an 8-speed automatic. Far more pleasant to drive, far more power, better economy. Reliability for long term, we just don't know yet. All speculation. Moving up the ladder, the upgrade engine was the 3.5 liter V6, putting out 278 horsepower. Rate 19 to 24 mpg, the 6-speed automatic transmission. It's been replaced with this upgraded four-cylinder turbo. Horsepower is the same, 278. Fuel economy is about the same at 20 to 24 mpg. So why bother? Well, this new turbo has more torque at 317 pounds-feet versus 265, and lower RPM. The old V6 had to spin at like 4,600 RPM to get the maximum torque, which isn't good for a truck. And this 8-speed automatic outperforms the old slush box 6-cylinder automatic that was in the V6. 0 to 60 times about 1 second quicker. And again, a lot of Toyota fans worry about long-term reliability. Can this motor go 200,000, 300,000 miles? And if they can, what about the turbo? How long will that last? Again, we just don't know yet. And there is a third choice, an upgrade. A 2.4 liter hybrid turbo. 326 horsepower, monster 465 pounds-feet of torque, but that's a whole separate video. We're going to be taking this out and do some performance driving, but next, let's talk about price. Since Tacomas are now being assembled in Mexico, we're assuming they're less expensive to make, and we're assuming they might pass on some of the savings to us. Not going to happen. Prices have gone up way, way up, which has been the subject of many complaints on the web, so let's take a look. Mexico. Next, let's talk about pricing, and this is one area that got a lot of potential buyers upset. Let's look at the numbers. The base SR with the low output four-cylinder runs $32,995. Okay, $33,000, let's round it off. But if you move up to the more potent four-cylinder, 278 horsepower, which is the equivalent to the older V6, we're up to $37,695. By comparison, the Toyota nearest competitor, Nissan Frontier, starts at $32,050, and that includes a 310 horsepower V6, which is certainly the equivalent of the high output turbo you're getting from Toyota for $37,000. So for a comparable truck, the Toyota is already $5,000 more than its nearest competitor, if I'm doing my math right. And I got on the web to find the most expensive Frontier I could find. A Pro X 4x4 loaded up with everything. $48,000. Versus the Toyota TRD we have here. And we're starting off around $43,000. However, with the option sheet, TRD Offroad Premium Package. A whopping $8,000, $8,800 to be exact. Nothing here useful, just a bunch of fluff in my book. And some other goodies, adding to the cost. About $7,000 difference over the Nissan Pro. And the top of the line Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro with that hybrid engine setup. Very, very potent setup, I might add. $65,000 for this baby. By comparison, this Ford Ranger Raptor, one of the most awesome off-roaders I've ever driven, this is the one I had a couple months ago, $55,000, which is around 10 grand less than the Toyota Pro X. Even with a bunch of fluffy add-ons, it was still under 60 grand. And getting back to Nissan, here's a Frontier double cab with a V6 9-speed automatic and 4-wheel drive. And the sticker is 36770. About what you pay for a 2-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma with a little 4-cylinder 2-wheel drive. Plus they have it on sale for 32 grand. That's a good deal. So now you get on the internet, all they're talking about is this. Too much money for a Toyota? Too darn expensive? I don't need to repeat this one. Then you have a usual barrage of idiots tossing in their 10 cents worth. Here's the biggest one. I thought this one was kind of funny. Alright, the purpose of this video is not to complain about the prices. It's a free market. Toyota can charge what they want. If they're charging too much, eventually they'll have to reduce the price to get them off the lot. It's that simple. I'm just showing you the cost factor compared to other trucks. So if you go down to the dealer to buy one of these, you'll be better prepared. Let's take this out and do some driving. And yes, I do miss the old V6 and 6-speed automatic, at least for durability, but frankly it wasn't that pleasant to drive. There wasn't that much torque at the bottom end. The 6-speed liked to hunt, change gears up and down. We didn't want to. Wasn't a very good setup. Here we have a turbocharger giving maximum torque at very low RPM, divided among 8 gears. I put my foot down. The thing moves when it's supposed to, the way I want it to. It's a lot smoother, quieter, more efficient. It's a better setup, guys. I know you hate 4-cylinder turbos, want the V6, but this drives better. Haven't seen much improvement in fuel economy though. We'll be driving some more miles and see if we can bump up the numbers. We're going to take a highway trip. It's around 105 degrees outside according to the thermometer on the dash. Around 2:30 in the afternoon. This is a comfortable truck to drive on the expressway or freeway. That's despite of these nasty 15 to 20 mile per hour winds we have outside at the moment. The visibility of this vehicle is excellent. Not fighting the wind at all, but of course with the TRD suspension and big tires, I would hope not. There is one thing that I find very annoying, and I don't know if other testers have mentioned it. This paper-thin aluminum hood vibrates on the expressway. It doesn't make any noise, but it sure shakes a lot, which gives a very cheap-looking appearance. I'll put the camera out. Maybe you'll notice the wobble and the shaking. And again, maybe the camera doesn't show it. There is one positive thing going on here, and that is this turbo engine and 8-speed transmission have far more passing power than the previous V6, discontinued V6 that is, and the older transmission, which had a bit of a problem accelerating in a hurry sometimes. That's it. Let's all step on our brakes so we get a 20-car pile up here. There's always an idiot up front running it for everybody. Alright, that trip was 128.1 miles. Let's pull up the MPG. 21.2 MPG. That's about the same I would get off the discontinued V6 and older transmission. Not much difference. Of course, with a heavier torque output and more gears, the drivability is better than the previous generation drivetrain, and that's what really counts, I think. In a mixed commuting, about half city, half expressway, 16.3 mpg. That's pretty close to what I was getting off the older V6 and 6-speed automatic. Yeah, about the same. Let's take another highway trip. See what fuel economy numbers we can get. 19.1 mpg. Pretty close to what we got off the old V6. I don't see much difference. A lot smoother and quieter, though. Still an improvement, sort of. This is designed for off-road, so let's take some dirt trails and see how we're going to do. I want to try to keep it in two-wheel drive. On second thought, with this loose gravel, we'll have to put it in four-wheel drive. One thing I've noticed on this new redesigned Tacoma, the seating position is far, far better than the previous ones. Remember the older Tacomas, the seat didn't even really move. It was one size fit all, which means one size fit none. Then after a while they did get some power seat up in the front, which didn't help much. Now they've redone the whole thing. Anybody can fit. It's about time. And another thing I noticed, for 56 grand on an off-road vehicle, you expect a full-size real tire underneath here. Instead, all we get is a chintzy temporary spare. Does appear to be a full size, but as you see, spare use only. Which means if you get a flat on a rough road like this, this tire isn't going to last very long, and I don't think I like this setup. Come on, man, for the money we're paying. So it's only 3 miles further to the spot I was going, but it gets kind of rough, and no way I'm going down there with a spare like this, so this is as far as we go. If you buy a TRD, look underneath and check the spare, see what you got before you hit the road. Plan ahead. Hey, it looks like we have a locking differential and a sway bar disconnect for those who do more serious off-roading than we're limited to today. This TRD seems a lot more comfortable to drive off-road than the previous models, although the other ones aren't really that bad. This one's just a bit smoother, that's all. Oh! Civilization, what a nice view. And right over that hill is Mexico. And right beyond that hill is the plant where they make these Tacomas. Alright, let's cut to the chase. Is this new Tacoma redesigned better than the previous Tacoma? Well, it does have a lot of advantages that have been improved. The cabin, definitely, the seating position, all that. The interior is definitely miles ahead of the older one. No complaints there. After I have hundreds of miles, I can tell you the fuel economy of this turbo 4-cylinder is no better than the previous 6-cylinder. Just ain't going to happen. It's a truck pushing lots of air, just the way it's going to be. However, in the other category, this 4-cylinder turbo outperforms the V6. Hate to say it, but it's true. Smoother, quieter, quicker. You do all that with the same fuel economy. I guess we can't complain. And as far as long-term reliability, that's all speculation. Maybe this combo will go 300,000 miles without any servicing. We'll find out soon enough. The only real subject for debate is the higher price tag we're paying for all these improvements. And it's a lot. And I don't know why, because a turbo 4-cylinder doesn't cost any more to make than a non-turbo 6. And certainly doesn't cost more to make them in Mexico than Texas. So go figure. So the question is, when the consumer goes down to the Nissan dealer, says a fully loaded Frontier Pro X, loaded up at $42,000, are they going to go over to the Toyota dealer and fork up 10 to 12 grand more for this? Or if they're comfortable spending 56 grand for this, how about going over to the Ford dealer and spending a couple extra grand for that Ford Raptor Ranger? You see the predicament. In all fairness, if we got rid of this $8,000 TRD luxury package with sunroof and all the other gadgets we really don't need, the price would come down quite a bit. The problem is, you go to the Toyota dealer, they're all loaded up with stuff like this, maxed out to the brim. And that's a shame, because if you got one without all the fluff, you probably get a nice Tacoma for around 40 grand, and now we're talking. So bottom line, yes, the new Tacoma is probably better than the older one in so many ways, but as far as the pricing goes, we'll have to sit back and see what happens. Or if you want to buy one, you might have to special order one with just the items you want if you want to keep the price down. Now, if you want to see our night drive video where we took the headlights out in the dark, see the perform, here's a link coming out for that. Just click and watch.